All right. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Dispatch, episode 4. A few things off the top. This will probably not be one of the longer episodes. For the simple fact that there's just not a ton of headlines this week to talk about. So there's one big one that I'll save towards the end. Um so that's the one I'm mainly most interested in, and then yeah, so I got some work I need to do on some videos tonight as well. So it actually is kind of serendipitous that there's not a ton to talk about. So with that being said, let's get right into it. We got some Last of Us season 2 news. I really loved the first season of The Last of Us. Really, really good show. Um season 2 is coming soon. I think it's in April. Real quick, I'll say what's up to Tim. What's up, brother? Yeah, really, we'll talk about that towards the end. Really curious as well, Tim. Chloe Zhao. Um, I haven't seen. I think she did Nomadland. I haven't seen that, but I have seen Eternals and like whatever. I'm sure that's not super indicative of her talent, but I'm confident in her ability to lead a Buffy reboot. But we're getting ahead of ourselves, so we'll talk about that towards the end. Tyler, what's up, bro? Glad to have you here live for one of these. What's up, Our Life in Horror? Glad to see you guys here. It really means a lot. Holland Oates, as always, supporting. So this article here, if you're familiar with The Last of Us episode or part 2, Abby is like the antagonist of that, and she is notably very ripped. And I'm not going to give you any spoil. Unfortunately, I haven't played Last of Us Part 2, but I do know some things that happen in that game, and as a result, will most likely be happening in the show, unless they decide to take a wildly different approach. So, but with that being said, this article here, I don't really have a ton of thoughts on it. Basically, they're just saying that Caitlin Dever did not bulk up to kind of play the role. And people are weird when they discuss this show, specifically about God, what's the girl's name? Bella Ramsey. People are really just kind of weird when they talk about this show and how things need to be super accurate and stuff. Personally, I don't really care. I really like Caitlin Dever ever since I saw her in Booksmart. So I'm excited for what she's going to bring. This is going to be a different kind of role for her. Apparently, Abby's a pretty despicable character. So it'll be interesting to see how Caitlin Dever sort of approaches that role. So then we have some more Last of Us news. And this one's a little bit more interesting. So the part 2 game will be adapted over more than 2 seasons for the HBO show. It's pretty likely that our story will extend past the season 3. I find this one interesting because I don't know how much longer part 2 is versus part 1, but it seems to me like HBO is trying to like run out the clock and wait for Naughty Dog to release Last of Us Part 3, which I don't even think has been officially announced or anything, but it's been speculated about, I think. So they're trying to kind of, it seems to me like they're trying to stretch this thing out so that they will have material to base further seasons on. Because I think the concern is that you could run into a situation like what they did with Game of Thrones, where they run out of source material and then they're kind of just left standing there like they want to produce a new show or a new season of the show, but they don't have anything to base it off of. So I also think it's weird because you probably could have made season 1 into more than one season, but they chose not to do that. So is the 2 game longer? Let me see. Let's actually see what people are saying. Part 2 is like 72 hours. Yeah, part 2 is substantially longer. Okay, so this makes sense. This makes sense then. This makes sense then. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me wearing my tinfoil hat. Let's get back to the chat here. The Rider is a really good one by Chloe. She excels as long as she isn't overruled on creative direction. As long as Buffy isn't made by committee, show there is real potential. I agree, and we will talk more about that towards the end. So, unfortunately, if you're wanting to hear about that right now, you'll have to wait a little bit. Allie, what's up? Thank you so much for being here. Laren is here. Hatless Mark, yeah, thanks for calling that out. I figure I'll start blessing you guys with my mop every now and then. Old Restless is here. What's up, man? Yeah, it could be seen as smart, but now that I know that the second game is longer, it does make sense. So I guess it's actually it's kind of doing double duty in a way. So yeah, I'm excited for part 2. I need to play the second game before this season comes out because I still haven't played it. So I need to get on that. I think I'll have some time though. Let's see. So this new Sam Raimi movie we talked about, I think last week, Send Help, has officially begun filming. Stars Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. I don't know if we have any like plot details on this, but super excited for this. Not a big headline, but this is coming. I don't know if this is coming later this year, but I'm excited for a new Sam Raimi movie outside of a Marvel thing. I think it's good that he didn't get caught up in that machine and they didn't have him stuck directing their movies for the rest of his career. We got some Scream 7 casting news. Ethan Embry joins the cast of Scream 7. I've loved Ethan Embry ever since Can't Hardly Wait. One of my favorite movies of all time. One of the funniest movies ever, in my opinion. And this Scream 7's cast is fucking huge, dude. Like, they keep announcing people like every other day. And it's like, what possible role are all these people gonna like? Yeah, like you got Nev, Courtney Cox, Scott Foley, Matt Lillard, Mason Gooding, Jasmine Savoy Brown, Isabel May playing Sydney's daughter, Celeste O'Connor, Asa German, McKenna Grace, Sam Reckner, Anna Camp, Joel McHale, Mark Consuelos. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not that overstuffed, but yeah, it just seems like a lot of people. Every other day, they're announcing more people are joining this movie, and some of them are the ones that you would expect to be there. But yeah, so I love Ethan Embry. So hopefully he's got a larger role in the movie. Let's see. So this is some physical media news. I'm going to try to keep working this stuff in. I won't focus on everything, but the big stuff I will try to include. And this qualifies as pretty big. So we've pretty much got all but official confirmation that we are getting a 4K Ultra HD Steelbook set of the Nightmare movies. And there is a pre-order out. I think this is through, I don't know who that's through. I think it's probably Zavi, some of those overseas sites. Yeah, $259 though is the thing. Yeah. So I don't even think we have artwork yet for these. So this is a developing thing. We're going to find out more about this. There will undoubtedly be other collections that you can get. This will not be the only way to buy these, and I'm certainly not paying $250. I mean, steelbooks are dope, but I'm not paying, because you're paying the premium for those steelbooks. That's where that $259 comes in. So I'll get whatever the standard edition of that is. But for those of you who are wanting, I think the biggest thing is just knowing that we are getting these movies on 4K. That's the big thing. So, and hopefully they just give us a lot of different options as to like how we can get them. So, moving right along. So it looks like Tarantino is doing everything but making a movie. The guy's he's writing books. He had announced a movie and he canceled it. So now he's going to say, I'm going to write a play. So I haven't actually looked into this article too much. I'm writing a play. It's probably going to be the next thing I end up doing. This is, this is perfectly on brand for Tarantino. A lot of his movies play like plays anyway. But the cynical side of me looks at this and says, okay, well, he's trying to put off the last movie. He's procrastinating, and he doesn't want to rush to get to that last movie. He had announced the movie and everything. It was called The Movie Critic. I'm sure some of you have seen about this. He had announced the movie, and then he said, no, I'm not doing that anymore. And, I don't know how you guys feel, but personally, I think this arbitrary thing that he's put on himself about I'm doing 10 movies and then I'm done is kind of silly to me. Getting back to the chat for a second. Ethan disappeared. Good to see him again. I agree. The last thing I saw him in was probably The Guest. Yeah, just all of these getting a 4K is great, Tim. I'm excited. I'll absolutely be getting whatever set they have. The most affordable one, I guess. Ethan Embry is awesome. I would love to meet him. I would love to meet him and get him to sign my copy of Can't Hardly Wait. Dialogue. Yeah, so it's a perfect fit. This could, I would be down to go see it. It would probably be super, I don't know. I've never seen a play, so I'm down. Never actually announced the Movie Critic. That was the press. I mean, I'm pretty sure they were like in the weeds with like the whole casting and everything. Like he had himself discussed that was gonna. I mean, unless I'm mistaken, the thing was like the wheels were turning on that movie, if I'm not mistaken, and then he kind of canceled it. So I don't know. I could be misinformed, but anyway, Tarantino's writing a play. Let's see. I think this is some Odyssey news. Yeah, so apparently Mia Goth had been in talks to star in a role, not star, but be part of the cast of Nolan's Odyssey. She's been in talks for a role, unfortunately turned it down. Most likely a scheduling conflict. Meh, whatever. I like Mia Goth, but this cast is already getting so stacked that I won't really miss her presence too much. But this could have been a cool collab. I didn't have Mia Goth and Christopher Nolan like collaboration on my bingo card, so that would have been cool to see. But what are you gonna do? Let's see. The Jurassic World Rebirth. We did get a trailer for this. I'm not gonna play the trailer for you, because I don't want to see it personally. But there's been some conversation around the movie that's got me excited. And just mainly how they're going to lean into causing fear in the audience. I don't really ever think you kind of got most of the fear of the Jurassic Park movies is in that first movie. You get a little bit of it in the second one and a little bit of it in the third one, but for my money, they never quite were able to capture the horror of that first movie. But this looks like they're adapting a scene from the original novel where the team attempts to drift through a lagoon in a raft without waking the T-Rex. That sounds awesome. That sounds really cool. And if I'm not mistaken, this is Gareth Edwards doing this one. So I never saw that Dominion one. I heard it was garbage. So I just skipped it. Fallen Kingdom was not good either. So I don't have a ton of Jurassic Park stock right now, but I'll go see this. Why not? This looks fun. And I mean, if it's good, then I don't want to see the trailer. Speaking of trailers that I also don't want to see, pause that. Hurry Up Tomorrow, starring The Weeknd, Jenna Ortega, and Barry Keoghan. So The Weeknd just dropped an album that's also called Hurry Up Tomorrow, which is interesting. I don't have a ton of stock in The Weeknd as an actor. I watched one episode of that HBO show, The Idol. Not for me. It didn't seem like it was for many others because the show got canceled. So because I'm kind of lukewarm on this as a concept, maybe I will watch this trailer generally my rule of thumb these days has been not watching trailers. So if you're interested, this is a thing that you can go check out. Yeah, not sold on The Weeknd as an actor, and I don't think the comments have been very kind to this either. Yeah, yeah, we are. I'm with this guy. Yeah, we are good on this. Um, yeah, odd to me. I don't understand really what's like. He's really trying to make himself happen as an actor, and I think if the more you try to force that, the more off-putting I find it. Got some more AI news. Seems like every episode of this thing I've been doing, we've had to cover some kind of not Marvel. We've had to cover some kind of AI controversy. So there was a poster. I think hopefully so it's this poster right here. This poster dropped, and people were speculating that it was made with AI. I don't know what exactly about this had people wondering. I'm trying to look at it and see if I can see like a person with like 10 fingers or something. No, I mean, so they had to come out and say, no, we didn't use AI to make this. And the problem is this wouldn't be off brand for Marvel because they made that Secret Invasion show, and in the intro of that show, some of the visual effects were made with AI. So they have a track record. There is a precedent for this. So hopefully the backlash from that will have prevented them or discouraged them from doing it again. So yeah, people are saying that. I mean, I guess it would be in the background here, but okay, so like this looks like the same face right here, I guess, now that I'm looking at it. I don't know. What's unfortunate to me is the fact that apparently, everything going forward we're going to have to look at with a magnifying glass to make sure that it wasn't made with AI. I mean, that's just exhausting to me. I think it's so not what anyone wants to be talking about when it comes to this movie. People are really excited for this. I'm pretty excited for it too, I won't lie. I've been pretty out on Marvel for a while, but if anything's going to get me back in, it could be this. So I just find it disappointing when I see articles like this where it's like it's same thing with Late Night with the Devil. Really cool, low budget horror movie, and a bit of the conversation around that was swept up in the AI that they used for those like title cards or whatever. Excuse me. So, and a company like Marvel has no excuse. I'm more forgiving when it's something like Late Night with the Devil does it because that's a more low budget thing. But Marvel literally has no excuse. I mean, they have all the money in the world. Tim, I definitely want to go see a play sometime in New York. Yeah, I could understand not being on the Mia Goth train at all. No judgment at all there. Yeah, I would love to go see one with you, Ty. Maybe next time I'm in there in New York. Definitely not looking forward to any more Jurassic Park. Wish they'd go extinct for good. Yeah, I can understand that take. I need to read the book. I'm assuming you've probably read it, Tim. Yeah, I need to brush up on that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to. I mean, I guess I'm not so cynical now to where every time I look at something, I'm like, oh, that's made with AI. Like, I'm just, but it's bad because I do feel myself trending in that direction. I really loved Julia Garner in Wolfman. I thought she was great, and people gave her a lot of shit for that, and people didn't think she was very good. I thought she was great. I like her a lot. Yeah, I mean, whatever. I'm kind of indifferent on Mia Goth. She's fine. Let's see. So, I don't want to talk too much about this, because it's a pretty messy situation. I think we talked about it briefly um on the last episode, but this woman, Carla Sofia Gascon, the star of Amelia Perez, nominated for Best Actress at the Oscars. This movie, Amelia Perez, nominated for a lot of awards, and it's recently come to light that this woman might be very problematic as far as some of the things that they said on Twitter a while back. So it's unfortunate because it would have been. I haven't seen this movie, and I probably won't. I've heard it's really bad, Amelia Perez, and I just don't. I don't have much interest. I've seen like clips out of context. Doesn't look very good. But that aside, I think it's cool to have a trans woman nominated for Best Actress. I think it's very progressive of the Oscars. Maybe that's not the right way to put it, but it's just nice. It's nice to see things like that being recognized, even if the movie isn't something that I necessarily would like. So it's unfortunate that it had to go down this way. Maybe this is a bad person. I don't know. I don't really have any proof or anything. I don't really have any. I don't have a horse in the race as far as this goes, but yeah, it's just unfortunate to see. So, yeah, and then this article is just talking about how Netflix has stopped talking with them, and now they won't cover any expenses for her travel during award season, which I'm sure is not great for her. Yeah, maybe this might very well be a bad person and not somebody worth defending. I don't know. I don't have enough information, and frankly, I don't care enough to know because it's not any of my business. But it's a headline, so we got to talk about it, especially with the Oscars coming up. So I was never a Gundam kid growing up, but I do find Gundams and just kind of mech in general super badass. I think of like Neon Genesis Evangelion, even something like Pacific Rim. It's hard not to like stuff with giant robots. So apparently we might be getting we are getting our first ever live action Gundam movie, which could be sick as fuck if in the right hands. Again, I watched this show on Toonami with like these little Gundams. They were like almost look like Funko Pops kind of, but I never watched like the actual anime. So yeah, live action Gundam movie could be cool. Could be cool. Okay, so this is just the new trailer for Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm not going to play this for you guys. You can definitely check it out if you want. But yeah, that is coming on July. July is going to be stacked, by the way. July we have Fantastic Four, Superman, and this movie. If I'm not mistaken. As far, also speaking of things that I'm not super interested in, apparently, finally after 3 years, Euphoria season 3 has finally begun filming. Emphasis on this finally here. So this just really speaks to the problem with TV nowadays, and it's like I made this video on this about why TV sucks. It's on my channel. You can go watch it if you're interested. But basically, just like 3 years between seasons of television is just it's just too long. It's simply just too long. I don't care if it was the writer's strike. I don't care if they were having trouble, like scheduling conflicts. It's just ridiculous. And it's like all the biggest shows too, like this, Stranger Things, Andor took a while to get going, like season 2 of that. I just don't understand what the problem is. It's just too, and it's like it's not even like this is a show that has a lot of like post production or visual effects. I mean, the entire cast of this show is extremely famous now. I mean, if you look at the cast of this show, Zendaya is huge, Jacob Elordi huge, Sydney Sweeney huge, Hunter Schafer is getting there, but I mean, it's like society has progressed past the point of needing euphoria any longer. I've never watched this show, so I might be talking a little bit out of my ass on that one, but it didn't seem like my cup of tea anyway. So, but yeah, so all you Euphoria fans, you got season 3 coming. So, and then I'm sure it'll be another 4 years. Well, actually, I hope it's the last season, if I'm being honest. It probably will be. So we got Adam Scott to lead supernatural horror Hokum from Oddity director Damian McCarthy. Oddity was a really good horror movie from last year that I really enjoyed. I definitely recommend you go check it out. And apparently he's already got his next movie off the ground. Yeah, you can watch Oddity on Shudder right now. This movie is dope. Really cool, low budget thing. It's inspiring, frankly, because a movie like this it feels like something that not necessarily that I could make, but like it makes making a horror movie feel accessible and like doable to somebody like me or like people who want to make movies one day. Because they're able to do a lot with not a lot of resources. So I really like this director, Damian McCarthy. And I think Adam Scott, great choice to lead his next movie, Hokum. So keep your eyes open for that. And then let's see what's next. Not too many headlines left, guys. We'll get to the big one here shortly. I think it's funny that discussing film used this werewolf picture. It's like the inside you there are two wolves meme or whatever. Robert Eggers says his new movie Werewolf is the darkest film he's ever written by far. Described as a werewolf movie set in 13th century England with dialogue true to the time, obviously, yeah. In theaters December 25th. Again, I find it really cool that he's running back the Christmas Day thing. I don't know if that was like on him or if this was like who did he do Nosferatu with? Was that Searchlight? I don't know who he did that with. I don't know if that was like a studio mandated thing, but yeah, super in. I mean, I'm set. My ticket's bought. I don't need to see anything else. So that'll be dope. I'm excited for that. Another bit of AI thing. Forgot about this. The Academy are considering changing their submission requirements for the Oscars so that films would have to disclose their use of AI. I imagine this is in response to some of the backlash that Brutalist has been facing. So yeah, and I think it's interesting that they're not banning movies that use AI. They just need you to tell them that you used AI. So, that's interesting. And it's honest, like, it's just, I don't want to be all like doom and gloom, like Skynet is going to become self-aware or anything like that, but it's just disappointing that this is where we're headed. That it's like, that it's gotten so prevalent that the Oscars have to recognize it now. And it's not going away. Like, it's just not. And I'm all for AI, like, in places that, I think it makes more sense. I don't make movies. I've never made a movie, but we've managed to make it this far without having to use AI in movies. So I just don't understand why we have to start now. And there are arguments to be made that it can make making movies easier and more approachable, like I was just saying, for people who, might not have all the resources. But it's a give and take, man. It's tricky because it's like by giving people AI, you remove some of that creativity that a lot of people would otherwise have to resort to. So, it's like I saw this thing when I was scrolling on Twitter, and it was like someone was like, I recreated the scene in Evil Dead where it's like the POV of the presence or whatever, and it's like zooming through the woods, right? You all know what I'm talking about, hopefully. And it's, Raimi like strapped a camera to a 2x4 and just ran through the woods with it, and that's how he created that effect. And it's like, if we, have all this AI that can just recreate it, it's it's like, well, we're not going to have like filmmakers innovating out in the woods anymore, and that makes me sad. So, yeah, I agree 100%, Tim. Like as far as art is concerned, I AI is like, you know, the antithesis. Like we've as a society's, persevered for thousands of years um without it. I see AI as a tool to create art. No, we don't need tools to create art. Humans can do that without AI. We don't need it. I 100% disagree with that, Old Restless. Respect your opinion, but I 100% disagree. All right, so this is the big story for me anyway. You might not give a single shit about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And that's totally cool. That's why I kind of saved it towards the end, because I'm going to talk about this for a little bit. So if you don't care about Buffy, then you can probably just split, or otherwise you can hang out and hear what I have to say. No hard feelings either way. So we got the reboot. It's been ordered. This thing is most likely going to happen. Like I said at the top of the show, Chloe Zhao, Tim, I'm so glad that you're here for this, brother, because it just feels very full circle moment for me. Obviously, like before I even had my channel, I was on yours doing that Buffy stream. So yeah, if anyone is here it could just be you and me, and I'd be happy. So thanks for being here, man. So yeah, at the top of the show, as I said, Chloe Zhao, good choice. And the thing about it is that obviously, Joss Whedon, maybe not a great guy, or most likely not a good guy. Obviously means that, he will have no part in this, right? He will have no part in this. It says here he hasn't even worked since 2021. Misconduct allegations out the wazoo. Huge bummer to hear, because Joss Whedon was known for, being one of the, he was a feminist when like feminism wasn't really, it was a thing, but the whole idea of Buffy is, born out of that idea of let's take that damsel in distress and make her like a badass. So to hear that he was apparently, not a good dude, definitely a bummer. But that being said, though, I don't think we need him necessarily to make this show good. I think all the bones of the show are there, and the DNA is there to build off of. And obviously there are countless Buffy comic books and like graphic novels and just novels in general that have like continued this story. And there's tons and tons of talented writers, out there who are more than capable of doing something like this and making this, worthy of doing. Yeah, I think it's I'm very curious how they approach this thing with her, man, because obviously she's a little older now, still looks great, but like is it going to be the typical legacy sequel thing where it's the Ghostbusters Afterlife or Force Awakens where she's like passing the torch and training like the new generation of Slayers? Excuse me. So yeah, interested to see how they do that. I'm okay with Joss for many reasons. Buffy is old enough you can fill a writer's room with people who grew up loving Buffy and understand it to its core. 100%, dude. 100%. And the only reason I'm not like a Joss defender, right? It's just it was like when all this stuff was happening, it was like when all that stuff was coming out about him. As a fan of his stuff, I love everything he's done between Buffy, Angel, Dollhouse, Firefly. You name it. So, it just, you find yourself in a weird position where you're like, am I allowed to like this stuff anymore? And obviously you can. Obviously, you can, because a lot of people made Buffy. Not just Joss. It wasn't just Joss. So, yeah. um, yeah. Apparently, I don't think he was physical or anything. But apparently, just like psychologically abusive, specifically to Charisma Carpenter. She was kind of the one who dropped the whole thing. So, yeah. Yeah, and it's like exactly, Tim, and it's like of all people, it's disappointing to hear. Was this whole thing about you being so feminist just like a front, like just to make yourself look good in the public eye? I don't know. It's just unfortunate. Um so yeah, it looks like this thing is happening. And yeah, there was this yeah, so I'm glad they mentioned this in the article. Um in 2018 there was rumors that this thing was it was going to be a reboot, and I don't think Sarah Michelle Gellar was going to be involved at all. Whedon was going to be an executive producer. This was before his allegations came out. The lead was envisioned as a black woman. It didn't move forward. Um, so yeah, I forgot all about that actually. So and then Sarah Michelle Gellar has been approached about this kind of thing for a lot, especially with, I mean, legacy sequels are all that anyone wants to make anymore. So making a Buffy one seems like a no-brainer, right? But if you're going to do that, you need Buffy herself. And she's always said, no, I don't want to do it. Doesn't really seem right. But she was a part of this Dexter show that's currently airing, Original Sin, and apparently during her experience on Dexter, she realized that there are ways to do it. And when Chloe Zhao approached her about doing this, apparently Chloe Zhao had a good pitch, and it was a better pitch than she'd ever heard before, because obviously she's in now. So, Tim, this is the other thing that I'm really curious about. I was just about to mention this. I wonder what other legacy characters they'll line up. Not really sure Nicholas Brendan is in a good place for something like this. Maybe some of the others can be part of it, though. Yeah, that's so. I don't think Nicholas Brendan's been doing super well recently. I think he's had problems with substances, and I just don't think he acts in general anymore. But like, you could definitely get somebody like Allison Hannigan back. I do believe she's still active in Hollywood. Like, pretty much, I think everyone but Nicholas Brendan you could get back. I doubt Charisma Carpenter would want to be involved. Nicholas Brendan is Xander. So you mentioned Spike though. What's a bummer to me is you can't really have Spike or Angel come back because they don't look the way they used to, and the thing is that like vampires don't age, or they're not supposed to age. So unless the writers can come up with an in canon, like a way that makes sense for those characters to come back, I don't see how you do it. Which is a bummer, man, because like I would love to see David Boreanaz come back. I would love to see James Marsters come back. I thought about it myself, and I'm just thinking like maybe they could lose their vampirism, or at some point they lost their vampirism and they've started to age like humans. So you could have them back in that capacity, but they wouldn't be vampires anymore. So I don't really know how you would do it. Yeah, and I certainly do not want to see any CGI. That would be very distracting. So very likely not going to have them back, but I do wonder what legacy characters they'll bring back. There's a lot you could pick from. You could have, excuse me, you could have Giles come back. I don't know if I assume he still acts. What's his name? Anthony Stewart Head. You could have him come back. If even just for like a guest spot, right? That'd be cool. Probably have Allison Hannigan come back. Could have Michelle Trachtenberg come back. I'm really curious what the pitch is. Like, I don't know like what the premise is, because that would very much dictate like where in the timeline are we? You know, how soon after the or of season 7 does this take place? There's a lot of factors at play. Eli Cortez in the house. What's up, man? How you doing? Yeah, we're just winding down this episode of the Dispatch with the Buffy news. It was a slower week for headlines. I think there wasn't a ton to talk about, and for me, this was the biggest. Headline for sure. Yeah, and it's interesting. She says it could be anything. It's a universe, and it makes you realize that in this world we need these heroes. I think more so than ever. So there really are a lot of potential areas that you could take this. There's so much like backstory that happens before Buffy even becomes the Slayer that you could play with. There's a lot you can do. Yeah, Tim, I agree. So I read up on those motion comics like a while back, like when I found out they existed. Same with like the Angel storyline that happened, the After the Fall storyline that happened after the end of that show, just because I was so starved for content. But a lot of that stuff gets really fantastical because they don't have to play in like the TV format anymore, so they can literally do whatever. So I feel like a lot of those storylines would definitely be hard to adapt for that reason. So yeah, I don't have a ton more to say about this other than that I am very excited. Here we go. Got a cast photo right here. Unfortunately, spoilers for Buffy. Anya is dead, so she probably won't be back. Quite frankly, I don't think anybody wants Riley to come back. So I guess these three, maybe Tara, don't know how you do Spike, and hopefully Giles, because Giles is probably my favorite character. And then I think they're just kind of talking about the writers that are going to be attached and what their credits have been. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I just hope it's good. I really hope it's good. The Final Destination trailer drop. It did drop. We talked about the teaser last week, but we didn't actually talk about the trailer because it hadn't come out yet. And it was a good trailer. I like that trailer a lot too, Old Restless. Final Destination movies are fun as hell. They have a great track record. 4 out of 5 of them are solid. And I like that trailer because it highlights just one kill, and it doesn't show you like the whole movie like a lot of trailers these days do. And I actually like that because even though it shows us that whole kill, it just kind of sets the tone and lets us know, like, you know, we're back with these Rube Goldberg contraptions killing people. Yeah, I'm excited. That movie is going to be a lot of fun. Eli, we talked about this briefly earlier. I don't know if you saw or not. We did just talk about that. Expensive, man. Expensive. God bless you. I'm personally waiting for, I don't even know if Warner Brothers has like officially announced it. I know these things go live on certain sites before they actually get their physical announcement. So, or the official announcement, I should say. So I'm waiting to see. Tim, you bet your ass I will be covering every bit of Buffy news that we get. This is a Buffy forward channel. We love Buffy. I did. They are remaking The Faculty. I like The Faculty. I think it's a good movie. But it's like we're very much in that 90s era of nostalgia right now. We got I Know You Did Last Summer reboot, sequel, whatever the hell it is coming out. We got Faculty. We got Scream movies. I think there was like one more big one that I'm forgetting. But yeah, 90s nostalgia is in full effect. Eli dropping the big bucks. Hey, man. People have been waiting for this for a long time, this Nightmare stuff. I would not begrudge anyone who spent some money on a premium edition. Yeah, I mean, that's, there's a lot of remakes that make me sad, but then there's ones like Buffy that make me excited. Excuse me. I have discussing film up. We pull from a lot of their articles for our headlines. So I just wanted to go over some Critics' Choice stuff real quick before we shut it down. I said this wasn't going to be a long episode, but it's actually pretty much a normal length for me. So what do you know? Wicked and Amelia Perez tied with the most wins at the Critics' Choice Awards with 3 wins each. I still haven't seen either of these. Nora wins Best Picture. Good for that movie. Adrian Brody wins Best Actor. I still need to see Brutalist. I'm still waiting. They weren't interested in bringing this movie to my part of New Jersey, I guess. Rebel Ridge has won Best Movie Made for TV. I guess that's what they call streaming movies now. Rebel Ridge is a badass movie. If you guys have not seen Rebel Ridge, it's on Netflix. Go watch it. This movie is badass. It's from the guy who did, I believe it's Green Room, which is this A24 movie with the late Anton Yelchin. Go check that one out. Demi Moore is raking up awards at the all the various festivals for her role in The Substance. She's coming for that Oscar. She's coming for it, and personally, I really, really hope she gets it. I really do. X-Men 97 got some awards. I heard the show was dope. I heard this was a good show. She's got the Globe. She's got the Critics' Choice. I don't know what comes next. But she's coming for the Oscar, man. John Chu, yada yada yada. Yeah. Best hair and makeup, valid. Dune 2, best visual effects, valid. Challengers wins best score, extremely valid. The score in Challengers, it goes stupid hard. Wicked, blah, blah, blah. Conclave, best adapted screenplay. I still need to see Conclave. I think that's streaming somewhere. Substance winning best original screenplay. Yeah, this movie's just racking up awards, and it just makes me really happy. Amelia Perez. Yeah, I don't know what the hell this movie is, honestly. I'm good on that, though. Deadpool and Wolverine won best comedy. I think it tied, actually, with A Real Pain, which I didn't know was a thing that could happen. Kathy Bates won Best Actress in a drama series called Matlock, which I've never seen, but good for Kathy Bates. I love that woman. I just did a video on Misery not long ago, and good for her. God bless this woman. Shogun getting some awards. I haven't seen that. Yeah. I don't know how the hell you have a tie in an awards show like this, but A Real Pain, which is a really, really good movie, and Deadpool and Wolverine both won Best Comedy Film, which is kind of lame, if I'm being honest, because A Real Pain, while very funny, has a lot of substance and depth to it. So, and then Deadpool and Wolverine is, poop and fart jokes and that kind of thing. Nosferatu won Best Cinematography, valid. Challengers wins Best Editing, valid. Can we actually watch the soundtrack? Goes so hard, dude. This scene too, I was just going crazy. All right, I'm gonna turn that off because I don't want to get this stream taken down. If you haven't seen Challengers, go see it. Movie is fucking awesome. We got no audio. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was vibing. Oh my god. And then there's some other stuff for things that I'm not familiar with. But all right. that's the show, guys. Thanks so much for everyone coming out. Despite not having a lot of headlines, we managed to fill almost an hour, so that's cool. But yeah, hopefully this Saturday night stream was okay for you guys. I'll be in New York tomorrow, so I won't be able to record then. So, but next week we'll be back to normal with Sunday night streams. So yeah, thanks everyone again for coming out. And with that being said, take care and watch more movies.